All right, welcome everybody. The topic is impeachment. No surprise, big news today, and we're going to be looking at some video, we'll be reading some articles, we'll be looking at some tweets. Of course, always very, very interesting tweets anytime anything is going on from our fearless tangerine leader, as some know him. I'll just wait a few moments for people to connect and to get started. I've got my new graphics for live streaming. And I think I fixed, there were a couple things people were asking me to change the other day. One was the color of the bar that gets filled in. Like, for example, if we were to get 5 new members and the bar jumps up, people were saying that the blue the other day was not noticeably different enough from the background color. So we had that changed, but we're not at 5. Everybody knows that we're starting at 0. So that was changed. And then there was one other thing that was changed. I think all the widget graphics are working fine. Yep, there we go. So that's all good. That one looks weird. I don't know how to change. That's strange because that's not the way that one's supposed to look. But yep. All right. In any case, I think that for the most part, it's a big improvement, and we're going to have a bunch of stuff to talk about, and we'll see how long I'm here because it's been a very long week. We've still got the Friday show. We had a 9-hour stream yesterday, which was absolutely bonkers. But I will thank people who sign up. You can communicate with me via Super Chat, as always, on YouTube, and you can all sorts of different ways to send messages over on Twitch, where Hello Yellow Yahello has signed up with Twitch Prime, and so has Twit. And Ramekin Beast. So thank you all very, very much. Okay, let's start with the news. Nancy Pelosi, Democratic Speaker of the House, announcing that indeed Democrats have no choice but to proceed with impeachment against Donald Trump. A historic step that signals the House is increasingly likely to vote to impeach Trump before the end of this year. Sadly, but with confidence and humility, with allegiance to our founders and a heart full of love for America, today I'm asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment. I will actually play the video momentarily, and we will also look at this dust-up that she had to being asked if she hates Trump by one of the reporters in the room. We'll get to that. My prediction, if I had to make one right now, and I hope that I'm wrong, I do hope that I'm wrong about this, my prediction of the most likely outcome is impeachment articles filed, House votes to impeach in December, goes to the Senate in January. The Senate, of course, is controlled by Republican senators who have no reason whatsoever other than morality and facts, but that doesn't really matter. Republicans who have no reason politically to vote to convict Trump on impeachment. And then from January to November, Trump claims he was vindicated on impeachment, even though in reality it's just Republicans that will refuse to convict him. He will try to use it to his advantage, to play the martyr, to play the victim, and maybe goes ahead and gets himself reelected in November. I do not know. I am not yet taking a position on whether that sequence of events will lead to Donald Trump getting reelected or to Donald Trump not getting reelected. I have no idea. I'm curious to hear from people in the audience. We know Jimmy from Philly, who's sending the first super chat. Jimmy from Philly says, let's face it, David, who's going to beat Trump in 2020? I'm with you, Jimmy. I've said from the start, I don't know that this helps remove Trump. And if we open up the phone lines, maybe we'll hear from Jimmy from Philly. In fact, let's see if Jimmy has been leaving any choice voicemails lately. Jimmy no longer drinking. Jimmy on LSD sometimes when he calls in now. Let's see if Jimmy left any voicemails before we move on to the Nancy Pelosi video. But I think that it's perfectly plausible that Donald Trump gets himself reelected after all of this for sure. Jimmy did leave a voicemail, but it was 2 days ago. Let's see if we've listened to this one already.
David, Jimmy from Philly. Regarding your comment, President Bernie Sanders.
I don't know what comment Jimmy's referring to, but we had listened to that one already. So that's that. Okay, over on Twitch, Loves cost worry, asking could I start streaming earlier because it's 2 a.m. in Poland. Well, we've got other things going on during the day, so sometimes I can't. Today I had to make dinner, and this was the earliest that I was able to stream. All right, let's go to Nancy Pelosi's announcement that she will be moving forward with articles of impeachment. We're going to save ourselves 25% of the time by watching at 1.25x. Let's take a listen.
Began our Declaration of Independence from an oppressive monarch for, among other grievances, the king's refusal to follow rightfully passed laws.
You know what? She's sounding a little bit weird at 1.25. Let's just do normal. I think we've got plenty of time.
In the course of today's events, it becomes necessary for us to address, among other grievances, the president's failure to faithfully execute the law. When crafting the Constitution, the founders feared the return of a monarchy in America. And having just fought a war of independence, they specifically feared the prospect of a king president corrupted by foreign influence. During the Constitutional Convention, James Madison, the architect of the Constitution, warned that a president might betray his trust to foreign powers, which might prove fatal.
So it sounds like Nancy Pelosi has a cold, right? Or is under the weather. I don't think this is normally the way she talks.
To the Republic. Another founder, Governor Morris, feared that a president may be bribed by a greater interest to betray his trust. He emphasized that this magistrate is not the king. The people are the king. They therefore created a constitutional remedy to protect against a dangerous or corrupt leader.
Oh boy.
Impeachment. Unless the Constitution contained an impeachment provision, one founder warned, a president might, quote, spare no effort or means whatsoever to get himself reelected. Similarly, George Mason insisted that a president who procured his appointment in his first instance through improper and corrupt acts might repeat his guilt and return to power.
Guys, this is weird.
During the debate over impeachment at the Constitutional Convention, George Mason also asked, shall any man be above justice? Shall that man be above it who can commit the most extensive injustice? In his great wisdom, he knew that injustice committed by the president erodes the rule of law, the very idea of fair justice, which is the bedrock of our democracy. And if we allow a president to be above the law, we do so surely at the peril of our republic. In America, no one is above the law. Over the past few weeks, through the Intelligence Committee working with the Foreign Affairs and Oversight Committees, the American people have heard the testimony of truly patriotic career public servants, distinguished diplomats, and decorated war heroes, some of the president's own appointees.
So let me just pause here. If I were giving this speech, and of course that would never happen, instead of focusing on historical stuff, I would have made it much more cut and dry. It still would have gone, she went 6 minutes. I probably would have gone 4. And that was regular speed for people who were asking. That was not a modified speed. We'll go back to it. I would have said, listen, we could be making political calculations here, but that would be wrong. We could be making election-related calculations here, but that would be wrong. We could be guessing at whether or not Republicans in the Senate will do the right thing or not. But all of those calculations would be the wrong ones, because this is the House of Representatives, and we don't decide about something as serious as impeaching a president on the basis of what are lunatic Republicans in the Senate going to do, what is Trump going to tweet, or when is the election. It is our constitutionally enshrined duty to be part of the balance of power and the separation of powers. And when the facts say you must impeach, we impeach with no regard for political calculation. Something like that is what I would have gone with. I mean, whatever is affecting her voice is just bad timing. Let's continue.
The facts are uncontested. The president abused his power for his own personal political benefit at the expense of our national security, by withholding military aid and crucial Oval Office meeting in exchange for an announcement of an investigation into his political rival. Yesterday, at the Judiciary Committee, the American people heard testimony from leading American constitutional scholars who illuminated without a doubt that the president's actions are a profound violation of the public trust. The president's actions have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when he says and acts upon the belief. Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. No. His wrongdoing strikes at the very heart of our Constitution, a separation of powers, 3 co-equal branches, each a check and balance on the other. A republic, if we can keep it, said Benjamin Franklin. Our democracy is what is at stake. The president leaves us no choice but to act because he is trying to corrupt once again.
I would have opened with "We have no choice but to act."
Again, the election for his own benefit. The president has engaged in abuse of power, undermining our national security and jeopardizing the integrity of our elections. His actions are in defiance of the vision of our founders and the oath of office that he takes to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Sadly, but with confidence and humility, with allegiance to our founders and a heart full of love for America, today I am asking our chairman to proceed with articles of impeachment. I commend our committee chairs and our members for their somber approach to actions which I wish the president had not made necessary. In signing the Declaration of Independence, our founders invoked a firm reliance on divine providence. Democrats, too, are prayerful, and we will proceed in a manner worthy of our oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help us God.
Right.
Thank you.
So that's the speech. So once again, I think the most likely scenario is this month, before we go on vacation, before they go on vacation, the House of Representatives votes to impeach. January, it goes to the Senate, and it goes nowhere. And then it's a matter of who can make what out of this for political purposes, for political gain for the 2020 election. That's my most likely outcome. Next, we are going to look at this conversation, I guess we can call it that took place between Nancy Pelosi and a reporter as she was exiting. The reporter is, let me figure out who I actually have not seen the reporter named. Does anybody know actually what the name of the reporter was that she ended up arguing with? It's not here. Okay. We'll get to that momentarily. Let me say thanks to a bunch of people. Wow. The only person who has sent a super chat over on YouTube is violently angry Trumpist Jimmy from Philly. But if you have questions or comments for me, by all means, send those super chats. Over on Twitch, I want to say thanks to In88 Fingers for subscribing for the 3rd month in a row. And adds the message, Fox News is still behind, no doubt. Am I right? They are still behind Trump, yes. Sick Man Sin has subscribed with Twitch Prime. And Geel9 has subscribed with Twitch Prime, as well as 503 Phoenix 4 months in a row, Dahanji 4 months in a row, Papa Smoke 6776. Thank you so much to all of you. I really appreciate that support. Also, if you are watching on Twitch and new to Twitch, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, please subscribe to my channel with Twitch Prime. It's free. Amazon gives every Prime member a free Twitch Prime subscription every month. It won't automatically roll over if you did it in months past. This would be a great time to renew it. For people saying they would do it if I streamed more often on Twitch, like more than once every 2 weeks. I think this is my 5th stream in the last 2 weeks on Twitch. So please, no inaccuracies. No inaccuracies. That would be extremely unfair. And let me thank a couple of people. Jordan Brunson signed up at joinpacman.com, and so did Steve Carlson. So that means I can now update our little progress indicator. It's going to go from 0. It's going to pop up to 2. Boom. There it goes. It just moved right there. Man, I love that thing. especially now that we've got a brighter color. Anyway, if we get to 15, I'll open up the phone lines. If we don't open up the phone lines, you're doing me a favor in the sense that it's been a very long day. But if people want the phone lines opened, I will open them. We can also, you can show your support for either Twitch or YouTube by using the coupon codes YouTube50 or Twitch50. And when those are used, I don't know, something else happens. Let's now listen to this exchange. My understanding of what took place is as Nancy Pelosi was walking out, a reporter asked her, "Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker?" And she took offense saying, "I'm Catholic. Catholics don't hate people," as far as I've understood. Let's take a look at the video.
Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker?
I don't hate anybody. I was raised in a Catholic house. We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked the question.
You did. And
Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they...
She seems to have some kind of tremor, I'm actually noticing. And this reaction seems like a bit much. It seems a bit much.
don't like the guy.
That has nothing to do with it. Let me just say this.
I think it's an important
I
point.
think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence. I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud. I think he's in denial about the climate crisis. However, that's about the election. This is about the election. Take it up in the election. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the facts that lead to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate.
That seems like too much, resent, the word, it's, okay.
In a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
I think it was a bit of an overreaction. I don't know what people think. Along the same lines, by the way, I found it to be, let me see if I can find the video. I found it to be an overreaction the way that the way that Joe Biden reacted to someone. Let's just look at that. Joe Biden was asked a question about his son, basically, and he kind of went bonkers. Let me see. Biden question Hunter town hall. I don't know exactly how to find this. Biden town hall. I think people probably know the video I'm looking for. It just happened today. Oh, okay. Here it is. Got it. Link to tweet. Yeah, so I think Nancy Pelosi overreacted here. I think Joe Biden also overreacted here.
We all know Trump has been messing around in Ukraine over there, holding their foreign aid for them to come up saying it's an investigation. We know all about that. And he's no backbone for that. But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there, get a job and work for a gas company.
It's not really true. Sent his son.
In order to get access to the public, to the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So you've
You're
got
a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and
So that sort of seems like a fat joke where the guy says, I watched it on TV, and Biden says, well, listen, I'm not sedentary. It's sort of saying, yeah, I bet you're watching plenty of TV.
Let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take an energy check. Number two, no one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I
one.
didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I hear on MSNBC.
Now, let me be clear. This is an overreaction, but I love it. This is the biggest sign of life that we've seen from Joe Biden. to use terms that I don't even agree with using, he's being the alpha here. It's a total overreaction, but I actually like it because he's been basically sleeping through the last few debates.
You don't hear that in MSNBC. You did not hear that at all. What you heard, look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man. Well, yeah, you do, but look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does.
Let him talk.
Any other questions?
Now, afterwards, this guy was attacked and like physically intimidated by at least one other guy, which I also think is stupid. It's like, listen, he can be there. The question was not put together well, as Sick Man Sin is saying. It was a malformed question, but it is a fair question. And actually, I've addressed this, and I've seen this in the chat. I've seen it a bunch of different places. The conspiracy around Joe and Hunter Biden that Republicans are pushing is a conspiracy theory not based in evidence. However, the fact that Hunter Biden had that job is part of the broader systemic rot that we have of this revolving door between elected officials and CEOs and influence peddlers and lobbyists. There's no question. And I think at some point, Joe Biden may have to account for that in some way, shape, or form. But, was it an overreaction in some sense? At the same time, I actually liked seeing Joe Biden fired up. And at the same time, the guy was asking what is essentially a legitimate question, although formed maybe in a way that it was not likely to get the right type of reaction from Joe Biden. Let me thank a whole bunch of people who just signed up on Twitch Prime. Celery Dave and Clume, Skizmage, Really Unfortunate, subscribe with Twitch Prime, Quiggins Prodigy, Gbob14, Bigsley Doe, 4Tracks, and Shisa Lion Dog. Cheered 500 bits. Thanks to everybody over there. I've got a bunch of super chats to answer over on the YouTube side. Ansi Asunma says, do you think the United States can return to sane politics, meaning non-100% partisan brown-nosing no matter what? Thank you. Greetings from Finland. Well, removing Donald Trump would only be step one, and that's a much bigger uphill battle. And so I think the answer is yes, the U.S. could return to that, but it's going to take some time. Let me say, okay, hold on. There's a few other super chats here. Tyler Woodall, do you even lift, bro? Biden 2020. Yeah, exactly. He's not sedentary, basically saying he goes to the gym. Xbox One sends a super chat. Another example of answering a bad faith question. Biden should have kept walking. I actually disagree. The question was not formed properly, but it is a legitimate question, and it goes to the broader corruption and rot that exists in politics. It's not specific to Hunter or Joe Biden. That's the reality that I think maybe some on the left have not properly sort of accounted for. Let me say thanks to Chris Duffy, who just signed up at joinpacman.com, and Cherokee Ray. That gets us to 4 new members. Let's make the thing move again. We're going to go from 2 up to 4. Very nice. Very, very nice. If we get 11 more members, we will open up the phone lines. Appreciate everybody's support. All right, let's continue. Donald Trump has not been quiet today on impeachment. Donald Trump started this morning with a tweet saying, the do-nothing Democrats had a historically bad day yesterday in the House. I don't think that's true. They have no impeachment case and are demeaning our capital C country. But nothing matters to them. They have gone crazy. Therefore, I say, if you are going to impeach me, do it now fast so I can have a fair trial in the Senate and so that our country can get back to business. We will have Schiff, the Bidens, Pelosi, and many more testify, and will reveal for the first time how corrupt our system really is. I think we know how corrupt the system is. I was elected to clean the swamp, and that's what I'm doing. And then 2 hours later, the do-nothing radical left Democrats have just announced that they are going to seek to, capital I, impeach me over nothing. They already gave up on the ridiculous Mueller stuff, so now they hang their hats on 2 totally appropriate, perfect phone calls with the Ukrainian president. This will mean that the beyond important and seldom used act of impeachment will be routinely will be used routinely to attack future presidents. This is not what our founders had in mind. The good thing is that the Republicans have never been more united. We will win. And then 2 hours later, Nancy Pelosi just had a nervous fit. She hates that we will soon have 182 great new judges and so much more. Stock market, capital M, and employment records. She says she prays for the president. I don't believe her, not even close. Well, I believe she's praying more than I believe Trump saying the Bible is his second favorite book, or favorite book. Help the homeless in your district, Nancy. USMCA. Just out of curiosity, let's see if Eric Trump has tweeted anything about impeachment. He retweeted Trump. He retweeted, this seems like a parody, but he retweeted some Trump winery stuff. Can you imagine going and getting Trump wine? It's toxic. Okay. And that seems like he's been a little bit quiet on Twitter there. So there it is. That's what's going on at this point, and we will, of course, follow it to its full conclusion, which I still predict will be impeachment in the House, acquittal in the Senate, and then who can use it to their advantage in 2020. Somebody says, look up where the wine is sourced from. All right, let's see. Trump wine source. Trump Winery. Oh, this is probably gold. Let's take a look at this. Trump Winery, formerly Kluge Estate Winery and Vineyard, is a winery situated on Trump Vineyard Estates in Charlottesville. Purchased by businessman and now U.S. President Donald Trump, officially reopened since 2012. It's been owned and operated by Trump's son, Eric. They manufacture 36,000 cases. Trump has referred to it as one of the largest wineries in the U.S. It ranks behind two other Virginia wineries. Current manager, acquisition, no trespassing. Trump purchased the land from Bank of America. Original. Trump stated publicly he owns the largest winery on the East Coast, although PolitiFact determined that was not true. So on and so forth. 227 acres of vineyard. So I'm not seeing anything about the sourcing here. But it seems like they're growing the grapes in Virginia, right? Unless I'm missing something there. I wouldn't be shocked if there are undocumented immigrants working there or something like that. But yeah, I don't know what in particular I was supposed to be looking at there. Janelli Na says, I'm having trouble subscribing to Twitch with Prime. I don't know why you would be. My understanding is that if you are on desktop, if you simply put your mouse over the video window, a blue thing comes up that says free loot, and it should allow you to subscribe. If you are over on mobile, I don't remember exactly, but people are doing it. So clearly it's working. I want to say thanks to FWDC NORAC for signing up with Twitch with a tier 1 sub. Smarthy #1 fan subscribing at tier 1. IR Serious Cat for subscribing with Prime. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. And I should also, oh no, we're good over there. Okay. All right, let's continue. Here is video of Kellyanne Conway this morning, of course, in advance of the news that they would be moving forward with impeachment in the House, attacking Professor Carlin, who I thought testified pretty brilliantly yesterday in the House Judiciary Committee. Let's listen to what Kellyanne had to say.
I have one more thing to say I want to get out today. If you, ladies and gentlemen, if you went to work today to manicure nails, to manicure lawn, if you went to work with a jackhammer or a welding machine or mechanics tools or a carpentry belt and not 3 degrees from Yale, that woman yesterday looks her nose down at you. She thinks that you are less than her. And I've had it. Do you know why that man ran for president in the first place? For the forgotten man, forgotten woman? You know why I'm still here at the White House? For you. For people who are looked down upon by people with 3 Yale law degrees, had the audacity to say that liberals like to cluster together and live together. Well, conservatives can't even stand to be together. That's why they're scattered.
I mean, listen, that she was not totally off in the sense that there is actually something to that. Okay, anyway.
Who the hell are you, lady?
That was Pamela
to look
Carlin.
down at half of the country.
That's a good point. That was Pamela
She
Carlin.
was the witness. She's the star witness. She didn't educate us. She spends her life lecturing people. She hobnobs with the elite. elite.
Well, professors lecture. It makes it sound negative, but I mean, lecture, that's what you go to college for.
For the next generation of lawyers.
All right,
I took out 6 figures worth of student loans to put myself through law school and college with my single mother working her tail off to supplement that. I resent someone like that looking down at half of America. She sounds like Hillary Clinton with deplorables and irredeemables, and we're sick of it. And people
Actually, Hillary was basically right on that.
who are watching. You want to get the president, you want to look down on him, you look down on the people. Tired of it.
Well,
Wow. Completely unhinged. I mean, absolutely and completely unhinged. Snake sent a super chat saying, what's with the talking point about the Congressman Gaetz accusing lawyers of having no direct fact knowledge of anything in the Schiff impeachment report? Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't even know that we want to get into that, although I'm willing to get into it. Let me thank Hiffe Champagne. Hiffe Champagne has signed up on my website. That's new member number 5. We are up to 5 of 15 new members. So so yesterday there's this guy Matt Gaetz, and in fact, let's see if I can find. I think I have some video that might be relevant just from the fool of he made really a fool out of himself. Here's basically what Matt Gaetz said yesterday, and I don't have this clip handy, but I've got another Matt Gaetz clip handy. Matt Gaetz yesterday played a game where he asked the 3 or the 4, but really the 3 witnesses, do you have any fact knowledge about what is in Adam Schiff's report? And of course, they don't, because they weren't there for that, in the sense that the 3 witnesses yesterday, these 3, were the 3 Democratic witnesses, they were there yesterday to explain, given everything that has been asserted, would that mean Trump is impeachable? They're there to contextualize the evidence that's been asserted in what the law and the Constitution say with regard to impeachment. They aren't there to be fact witnesses. They're not there to tell you whether everybody who testified in the House Intel Committee 2 weeks ago lied. That's not what they're there for. So Matt Gaetz played a game that was probably sort of effective with Trumpists, because I heard this being floated around and saw it in the YouTube comments today, saying none of these witnesses asserted any facts. Well, they asserted their interpretation of the Constitution and the law, which is what they were there to do. They weren't there to say, Sondland was right when he said there was a quid pro quo. They were there to say, given what has been testified to, this is what the law and the Constitution would say about what's supposed to happen with impeachment. Let's now go. Let me see what the time code is here. About 2:24. Actually, let's go back a little bit. We're going to start with Professor Noah Feldman, who's brilliant, by the way, about some article he wrote. Then he will go over to Professor Carlin and ask her about political donations. Take a look.
And then Mr. Jake Flanagan wrote in Quartz, a Harvard law professor thinks Trump could be impeached over fake news accusations. My question, Professor Feldman, is since you seem to believe that the basis for impeachment is even broader than the basis that my Democrat colleagues have laid forward, do you believe you're outside of the political mainstream on the question of impeachment?
I believe that impeachment is warranted whenever the president abuses his power for personal benefit or to corrupt the democratic process.
Did you write an article entitled "It's Hard to Take Impeachment Seriously Now"?
Yes, I did write that article.
And in that article, did you write? Hold on, I'm limited on time. So,
I wrote that article.
So one of the things that I hate is that Gaetz and other Republicans, other than just yelling the entire time, which is really annoying, they ask questions that warrant more than a yes or no answer and then complain that they're running out of time, and then they interrupt the witness.
Since the 2018 midterm election, House Democrats have made it painfully clear that discussing impeachment is primarily or even exclusively a tool to weaken President Trump's chances in 2020. Did you write those words?
Until this call on July 25th, I was an impeachment skeptic. The
Very
call
well.
changed my mind, sir, and for
Thank
good
you. I
reason.
appreciate your testimony. Professor Carlin, you gave $2,000, or you gave $1,000 to Elizabeth Warren, right?
I believe so.
You gave $1,200 to Barack Obama,
I have no reason to question that.
and you gave $2,000 to Hillary Clinton.
That's correct.
Why so much more for Hillary than the other two?
Because I've been giving a lot of money to charity recently because of all of the poor people in the United States.
No, those aren't the only folks you've been given to. Now, have you ever been on a podcast called Versus Trump?
I think I was on a live panel that the people who ran the podcast called Versus Trump.
On that, do you remember saying the following? Liberals tend to cluster more. conservatives, especially very conservative people, tend to spread out more, perhaps because they don't even want to be around themselves.
There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, we know that. Why is there an urban-rural divide? Well, because liberals and conservatives have different preferences about where they want to live, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And if she wants to jokingly speculate on a podcast, maybe they just don't even want to be around each other because they can't stand each other. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. It doesn't hurt her credibility about what the law is.
Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand how that reflects contempt on people who are conservative?
No, what I was talking about there was the natural tendency, if you put the quote in context, the natural tendency of a compactness requirement to favor a party whose voters are more spread out.
Well,
and I do not have contempt for conservatives.
Well, he's slinging horrible accusations and then not letting her answer.
Limited on time, Professor. And so I just have to say, when you talk about how liberals want to be around each other and cluster,
which is
conservatives don't want to be around each other, and so they
which
have
is
to spread
true.
out. It makes people, you may not see this from, like the ivory towers of your law school, but it makes actual people in this country
when
feel
the
like,
president
excuse
calls
me, you don't get to interrupt me on this time. Now,
actually, he interrupts her constantly. This guy's disgusting, okay? Just one other example of another thing that backfired. Here's Tom McClintock asking asking people on the panel to say who they voted for, and they smartly say, we don't have to tell you that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could I begin just with a show of hands? How many on the panel actually voted for Donald Trump in 2016?
Silence.
I don't think we're obligated to say anything about how we cast our ballots.
Just show of hands.
I will not.
I think you've made your positions, Professor Carlin, very clear.
The gentleman will suspend the clock, too.
I have a right to cast a secret ballot.
You may ask the question.
Well, let me rephrase the question. How many of you
The clock is
supported?
stopped for the moment. The gentleman may ask the question. The witnesses don't have to respond.
Correct.
How many of
the
you
gentleman's time is
supported
restored.
Donald Trump in 2016? Show of hands.
Not raising our hands is not an
Professor-
indication of an answer, sir.
This is all they had. When all you have is, when the facts aren't on your side, you just find questions to try to impugn the character of the witnesses. That's all you do. J Money J with a 1999 super chat over on YouTube. What evidence does Nancy Pelosi have for impeachment of Trump when her obsessive topic is back to Russia just to smear the president? Is the Democratic Party that desperate that they are not confident in their candidates? Yes. I mean, to some degree, yeah. And I think it was a mistake to narrow the impeachment inquiry from the beginning. And then now you're hearing them talk more about Russia, even though that's not actually what was investigated. I think it's a mess, and I'm worried that it will backfire, although I hope that it does not. Sherry Todd sends a super chat to say, my last super chat had a typo. I hate that. All right. Well, I'm glad that you corrected it. And Matt H. says via Super Chat, Sam Cedar or Vermin Supreme for Libertarian nominee. I met Vermin on primary day in New Hampshire in 2016. And I think I have a picture with him on my, I think it's on my Instagram, actually. It was, if I recall, I was only just getting on Instagram then. If you go to david.pacman, I'm scrolling all the way to the end of my Instagram. I think I have a picture with Vermin at the very, very beginning. It takes a while to scroll all the way back there, but I am slowly doing it. Let's see here. I don't remember I think I asked him to take the boot off of his head. Vermin Supreme is this perennial candidate who often wears a boot on his head. And I think I asked him to take it off for the picture. Man, I've posted a lot to Instagram. It's taking me a while to scroll all the way back. Yeah, my first picture ever on Instagram is me with Vermin Supreme. Let's see if you can see this if I hold it up. Yeah, there we are. There's me and Vermin. Anyway, why were we on that? Oh, right, the super chat. Daniel Krieger says the clutching of pearls about Barron Trump was funny. It was, yeah. It was just so not a big deal. And Steve G sends a $20 super chat. Thank you. All right, let me thank some folks over on Twitch. I want to say thanks to Jin Ja for subscribing for 5 months in a row with the message, the Republicans keep being dishonest about the impeachment process. How can the Democrats combat this? It is hurting our electorate. You can't. The right has something they didn't during the impeachment potential of Richard Nixon, which is Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and right-wing media. Awesome Al 360 has subscribed with Twitch Prime. NTFN has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Fried Sickle has subscribed for the 4 months in a row with Twitch Prime with the message, "She is a living SNL skit." I don't know if you mean Professor Carlin or Nancy Pelosi. Darlin Jen has subscribed with Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Michael Chambers is a new David Pakman Show member. Frank Laturco is a new David Pakman Show member. And Minerva Grau has signed up at joinpakman.com. So we are going to go. We're at 5 and we are going to 8. Very nice. If that's for opening up the phone lines. If folks want me to open up the phone lines, I'm glad to do it, sort of. I mean, I'm tired. It's been a long week, but I will do it. I will do it. I got a voicemail from a guy. Oh, actually, maybe you guys would be interested in this. This is kind of funny. There's a guy who called in yesterday to my show named Total Control 871. And he has been, I think he didn't like how it went. And he's been leaving angry voicemails ever since. So I'm going to play for you the voicemail that, or the phone call rather, that I had with him, because I think it's actually hilarious. He made an assertion and then was unable to defend it, and then he got really mad at me. Let's take a, this has not published yet. Let's take a listen. From the 609 area code. Who is calling today from 609?
Hey, what up, Pakman? Total Control 871. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
All right, so a couple observations here. I believe that the Me Too movement has done more damage to women than helped them in terms of this election cycle.
How so?
I do believe women have indeed been victimized by men for centuries, quite brutally in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that women in the Me Too movement, in their newly acquired power to terminate powerful men on accusation alone, he said, she said, accusation alone, it's left them a little power drunk, I think. And I think that's translating in the polls and with the voters. I think that people just simply don't want to bring in a woman president right now.
Just remember, this guy after this phone call won't stop calling saying he so embarrassed me that, you know, what you'll see.
Or at least for this election cycle.
So total control. Let me see if I understand, because you're saying a lot. I want to make sure I understand it. You're saying that the women candidates currently running, like, for example, Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris, who dropped out, or Tulsi Gabbard,
Correct.
Amy Klobuchar, they would have more support today if men hadn't lost jobs because of allegations of sexual assault. Is that your assertion?
No, my assertion is if women, or to be more specific, if the Me Too movement had been a bit more responsible with their newly acquired power. That's what I'm saying.
What's an example of the irresponsibility of the use of the power of the Me Too movement?
Well, complete no due process. Like I said, I already said it.
Yeah, but what's an example of the power being wielded?
Al,
What's an example of that power being wielded inappropriately?
He said, she said.
Right, but
And
what's an
quite
example
frankly,
of
in some
that? What is,
cases-
if there's
and
something
quite
that is
frankly, in
making
some
voters, hold on,
cases,
Total.
decades ago.
But Total, hold on.
Or if you
Decades
want
ago,
a
the Me Too
particular
movement is new.
case,
Hold on, Total
how
control.
about
Hold on a
Lucy
second.
Flores with her hair sniffing claim? That was pretty crazy, if I'm not mistaken.
Which story
Jake
is this?
Tapper had a grimace on his face the entire time that he was pretty much being forced to cover it.
So you're saying the female Democratic candidates aren't getting more support because of CNN reporting about Lucy Flores?
No, that's what you're saying, David. I've already said what I wanted to say, but it's pretty obvious that you're not really happy with the narrative that I've crafted here, and that's okay. You don't have to. Anyway, how about if we move on to Donald Trump, because I heard a couple of interesting nicknames for him. My nickname is Agent Orange, and the pun is intended.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I
we've
think
heard that one before, Total. All right, Total. We're running low on time. I'm going to let you go. So anyway, so after this happened, he's just been leaving voicemail after voicemail like this one.
The transsexos, ding-dongs in disguise. Chicks with dicks rage their battle to destroy the evil force.
right? Then he called again.
David, now you really ought to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, you, the king of corporate media, is crushing us little guys. So when the narrative isn't going quite your way, you act like a child.
So there was that, and then called again. This one's just minutes ago.
Hey, bar mitzvah boy. Total Control 871.
Yeah, so no shortage of anti-Semitism either. Probably won't shock anybody. Okay, so anyway, that's that. Let's move on. Mind of the North Star sent a super chat. Many say I am now a centrist neoliberal shill simply because I pointed out Kamala's decline in the polls started well before her exchanges with Tulsi. I'm sure you couldn't relate to this. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Her decline started when we can look at the polls. In fact, Kamala Harris at one point, I think, hit 15%, but it's taking just a second to pull this up. Here we go. I think we're getting closer to pulling it up. Okay. This is just going really slowly. I hope this isn't my connection. Maybe it is. Very odd. Stream is good again? Oh, okay. Anyway, so Kamala Harris, as you can see, here she hit about 15%, and the decline started right away. The Kamala Tulsi thing, I think, happened on November 20th, which is... November 20th is here. Yeah, so it's an undeniable reality that the decline started much before the Tulsi stuff. Rowdy 422 says GOP hated Trump first. Look at Lindsay on CNN Talk. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but I will certainly look into that. Imperator MEL says, "Hey David, love your show. Keep up the good work." Thank you. Very much appreciate that. Okay, let me say thanks to a few other people over on, actually, I don't have anybody to thank over on Twitch, but I do want to say thanks to Monica Patzer. Monica Patzer signed up at joinpacman.com, is new member number 9. We are just 6 new members away. If people want to open up the phone lines, if 6 folks sign up at joinpacman.com, info is up there. And it's all very, very exciting. Although I don't know why it says save 45%. That's weird. It's only 40% with that coupon. There we go. But I'll give you an even better coupon. If you use the coupon LAST 2019, that'll save you 60%. Take advantage of it if you would like. Okay. Other questions that were coming in. Yeah, it was lagging. I apologize. Something weird definitely happened, but I don't know. It seems to have been fixed at this point in time. Okay, a few questions over on Twitch. Am I familiar with the works of analytic philosopher Dr. Tyler Nicknam? He's a self-proclaimed leftist and has done a lot of work in the field of the Me Too movement. I am not. Featherino Caparino says, Democratic Party are all sheep, easily manipulated people voting for Biden. Conservatives are super based and went for Trump before Fox ever pushed for him. Oh my God. Yeah. Another message from someone who says, Tulsi Gabbard. All right. Thank you. And some people said that a commercial played over on Twitch. I don't know. I haven't pressed anything. I don't really know. The Purple Party of Canada via Super Chat says, Purple, progressive, utopian, reform, projects for a liberated Earth. Question, will you consider running for office next cycle? I had a very interesting conversation with a Massachusetts political strategist a few months ago, asking me about a particular seat that he thought I should consider running for. But in news related to running for stuff, Cenk Uygur, who is running for Congress, is going to be appearing on the show sometime soon. Epic Fails says, hey, David, what do you think the Republicans would do if Trump had a real health scare on live television? I don't know what they would do. I don't know. I'm guessing Fox News would cut away from it. But otherwise, I'm not really sure what it is that that they would do. They would probably try to explain it away and maybe even show video of Hillary coughing or something like that. That's my guess for what they would do. Let me say thanks to MS Juxta, who has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Very much appreciate that. And no, people asking if I was... oh, you know what? There's a guy we've got to ban. This guy's so annoying. Let me just ban a couple people here. There's actually a lot of people that need to be banned. The great thing about banning people is that it's free. It costs us nothing. All right, very good. I just banned a few people because there's just some people that are being toxic in the chat, and we don't really want that. Some people saying I should interview Anna Kasparian instead of Cenk. Well, Cenk's running for something. Jacob Ball coming in out of nowhere with a $50 super chat, along with, I guess, what's called a super sticker. Who even knows what this stuff is? But YouTube has this new thing, I guess, called super stickers. I appreciate that. And I want to send just a massive thank you to Celery Dave. Celery Dave just gave out 10 subscriptions over on Twitch, and that is absolutely and completely stunning, and I really appreciate that. Steve G says, Biden legitimately mentioned the record player. He's out of touch. Sniffs hair. I'm not sure I know what that means, but it is interesting. DJ Senpai says, David, please go on Train's podcast tonight. He's familiar with the work of Tyler Nicknam. Listen, I don't know who Tyler Nicknam is, and I don't know what Train is. So, I don't know about any of this stuff. So I never know when somebody is suggesting I do something, say something, or talk to someone extremely racist. So I always try to be careful. Addie D says, I used to be Yang Gang, but I admit that he needs to drop. Let's see how Andrew Yang is doing in the latest polls. Let's take a look here. Yang. So he's at 2% in The Economist, 2% in The Hill, 4% in Politico, 3% in the previous Economist poll, 2% in Quinnipiac. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand staying in for as long as you are able to make the debates. Let me see, Democratic Debate Wiki. Let me see who's actually in or close to in. I actually respect Kamala Harris because she was in the next debate, but decided to drop out anyway because she's not raising money and has no path to the nomination. I respect that because it's very appealing to just get the stage time, right? Yang. Okay, so Andrew Yang has qualified based on donor criteria, has not qualified based on polling criteria, and has not qualified based on early state polling criteria. So Andrew Yang may not make the next debate, and at that point, it does become sort of a question mark. Let's look at the early states. In Iowa, Yang is most recently polling 4. Okay, that's something. Although in some of these others, he's polling 1. In New Hampshire, Yang is polling 5, 4, and 2. Okay. In Nevada, Yang is polling 3, 1, and 3. And then in South Carolina, Yang is polling 4 or 0, depending on which poll you look at. All right, so it's not looking great for Andrew Yang. I don't know. I think if he doesn't make the next debate, it does start to become a question how long he sticks around. Keith Cole says, David, any quick book recommendations for us? Yes. What I'm reading right now, I just started this. Let me find it. I am reading this book right here, Killing Pablo by Mark Bowden. It's a nonfiction book about the sort of history and eventual downfall of Pablo Escobar. Really, really good. Excellent book. I think it's even won some awards. Let me see here. Maybe not. Excellent book, though. So I'm reading this. I'm also reading Principles of Life and Work by Ray Dalio. He wrote a very, very good book just a couple of years ago, and he's a super interesting billionaire. I actually find him as a billionaire, I find him much more interesting than some of the other folks that are billionaires, and I'm reading that as well. I can fully recommend that to you. Moni Lou 78 sends a super chat. David, do you plan to come out with an app for the David Pakman Show? Unsure. RM Brown says, what's your favorite YouTube channel besides yours? It's mostly like chess channels, honestly. Like I've taken chess lessons with a guy named Eric Rosen, and I watch his videos. I'll watch Hikaru. I wonder actually if Eric, let's just see if by chance he's streaming on Twitch right now, because I've never caught one of his live streams on Twitch. I guess he's not. No. Anyway, it's mostly stuff that people who watch political things probably wouldn't have heard of. Joe Crowfoot says you shouldn't dismiss the Gabbard effect on Kamala. She tanked after Gabbard dunked on her in the July debate. Please be accurate. Okay, I thought you were talking about something. I thought people were talking about Kamala attacking Tulsi, not Tulsi attacking Kamala. But I apologize there. Imperator MEL, David, did you see the Howard Stern interview of Hillary Clinton? Excellent, fascinating interview. Doesn't change my view of Hillary's politics, but it was yesterday on the Howard Stern show, and you should definitely listen to it if you have access. Robert Rousey says, do you think Kamala's dissent was directly related to her centrist pivot? Yeah, I think that what Kamala Harris's dissent or downfall was really more related to was being slippery on healthcare and coming in with these planned attacks that, fell a little bit flat. I think that there was more to that, really, than anything else. Let me say thanks to Antoine Mazareka for signing up for a David Pakman Show membership, as well as Jessica Sanchez and Jordy Jordan. That's three more new website members. That gets us to 12 out of 15. I actually may end up having to open up the phone lines. I was almost getting ready to go to bed, but it seems like you fine folks might actually make me open up the phone lines, which would be totally fine. David, have you considered speaking with Yuval Noah Harari and Anand Giridharadas? I already interviewed Anand Giridharadas. You can check out that interview. And we've invited Yuval Noah Harari. I would love to have him on, but he has unfortunately not responded to any of our requests, sadly. It makes me sad. Let me say thanks to one of the Smurfs for subscribing with Twitch Prime. And also thanks to Horoscopes and I Got Karma to Collect for the bits. Logan Ensley says via Super Chat, Yang should run for a congressional seat. What do you think, David? I think that he would have a great shot. at a congressional seat if it was the right one. And I look forward to interviewing Cenk Uygur about his run for Congress upcoming very soon as well. We're trying to work out a date, and it's going to happen pretty soon. Yeah, listen, Hillary said a lot of things I disagree with on her interview with Howard Stern. I don't deny that, but it was the most humanized I've ever seen Hillary Clinton, for sure. Okay, let me see here. I need to ban just a few other people. Let's see here. There is one, and okay, yeah. I mean, listen, we're not going to tolerate anti-Semitism in the chat to the extent that I see it. Charmander says, what is the best argument against Medicare for all? So I'm for Medicare for all. I'm in favor of Medicare for all. I believe Medicare for all is the gold standard. I believe Medicare for all is the proposal which I would most like to see made the law. Hopefully I'm being clear. For me, the strongest criticism of Medicare for all is that it is incorrect to presume a 50% decrease in the cost of delivering care merely on the basis of switching to a Medicare for all paying system. And a lot of the plans that I've seen assume that we will reduce our per capita healthcare spending to the level of Canada and Australia. The best estimates I've seen say that could take 15 to 20 years to happen. I'm for Medicare for all. I support Medicare for all. It's way better than the system we have. I hope Medicare for all becomes the law. Okay. I think people get the point. I just missed another question that I wanted to answer. Justin Mehmet has signed up at joinpacman.com, and that gets us to 13. Look at that. 13 out of 15 new members. Look at that. It's just this little thing right here. If 2 more people were to sign up, we would open up the phone lines right there, because we've got all of this versus only that. It's hard to do this looking at yourself reversed. Anyway, I also want to say thanks to Latrice Toch for signing up at joinpacman.com. I'm gonna, I was looking forward to going to bed, but it looks like the phone lines are actually going to get opened up. They aren't open now, and I see so many people that are continuing to call in and leave voicemails. The phone lines have not yet opened, to be totally clear. Jimmy is out of control.
David,
look at this.
Jimmy from Philly, you cheap bastard. It used to be 10 new members to get a call in. Now it's 15. You
Right. Well, that's because we're streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, so the threshold is up. Here's Jimmy again.
Pacman, it's Jimmy from Philly, you cheap motherfucker. 15 callers? It used to be 10, you cheap bastard.
All right, so that's just another version of the same call. Addie D sends a super chat. Triggered unsubscribed. Charmander says Medicare for all equals 40% doctor pay cut. Would it really save dollars for everyone? Yeah, we've talked about that already before, so I don't want to go fully into that because we've talked about that so many times that I don't want to turn this into a Medicare for all stream. But yes, I'm for Medicare for all. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. I see a whole bunch of people saying they can't figure out how to sign up with Twitch Prime on Twitch. So step one, are you an Amazon Prime member? If you are, you have to link Amazon Prime to Twitch. Google that. Connect Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime. And then it should be really, really easy. There's like a purple button somewhere or something like that. I don't remember exactly where it appears. Or if you're on desktop, just put your mouse over the video window and there will be something that pops up that says free loot. User says Kamala dropped out because she didn't want to be on the California primary ballot and get destroyed. Deadline is soon. Her re-election is 2023. David Pacman, in YouTube chat, people are asking how to subscribe with Twitch Prime. Okay, if there's anyone watching this on YouTube trying to subscribe with Twitch Prime, you can't do that. it didn't even occur to me that that's something people might be trying to do. Twitch Prime is on Twitch. Twitch Prime is on Twitch, twitch.tv/ David Pacman. All right, Raul Quirino has signed up at joinpacman.com. That's 15. So let's open up the phone lines. Let's do it because it happened. It happened. Let's do it. 617-830-4750. If folks want to call in, I will take some phone calls. Also, thanks to Nathan Davis and Rick Sakow, who have also signed up. Now, let's see what happens. What happens if we go over, this is the first time this has happened with my new graphics. If we go over 15, let's see, 17 of 15. Oh, nothing happens. It just says 17 of 15 and the bar is filled. Now, I wonder, can I immediately change it to 15 of 20? Oh, beautiful. All right, let's just do that. The new goal now becomes 20. Why not, right? Let's get set up for phone calls here. The number is 617-
Thank you for calling into the David Pacman Show.
830.
Please do not use speakerphone.
4750.
Have your question ready and listen for David to call out your area code.
617-830-4750 is the number. We're going to have a good time here talking to some people. We're talking about impeachment. We are talking about many, many different things, but I will take questions about all of it. Let's just go first to Jimmy from Philly because he's been going completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Jimmy, what's going on? Are you on LSD right now?
I am not.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not. But David, you know, this is what kills me. Yeah, you talk all this socialist stuff, right?
Oh, no, I'm not a socialist. Hold on, Jimmy. Whoa, hold on a second, Jimmy. Jimmy,
you do, David.
Let's back it up. Jimmy. I'm not a socialist.
Let's not back it up, David. You're going to gaslight me now. I know. Go ahead.
Can you cite one socialist position I've advocated for?
Bernie Sanders is President Bernie Sanders. You made that pronouncement.
What policy position have I advocated for?
Position. You said President Bernie. You like Bernie Sanders.
I'm a Bernie Warren guy. Neither are socialists. Yeah.
So let's get to the point here. So, David, you went from 10 new members to 15 for call-ins. That's a capitalist view.
I'm a capitalist, yeah.
So capitalism works quite well for you when you want to make more money. And incidentally, 15, what's that, $45 more a month for you? I mean, you know, come on, David. Yeah. Now, in the future, I would like for you to refer to me as an angry psychonaut Trumpist.
So, Jimmy, if I understand correctly, you called in to say that I'm a socialist, but then I explained I'm a capitalist, and then you accused me of actually being a capitalist. So it sounds like we
you're
agree,
not a
right?
capitalist, David. David. That's a gaslight. Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
But you just called me a capitalist.
You're talking to me. You're not talking to your subscribers. Now, David, I forgot to tell you. I've been meaning to tell you this, and I forget every time I talk to you. Did you know that my daughter just got accepted to Harvard?
I did not know that.
Neuroscience.
Congratulations.
Now, we are estranged, but yeah. The kid got a big brain. She got, yeah.
How did you find out? If I may ask, how did you find out? Given that you're estranged, that she got in?
I had somebody go on her mother's Facebook, and her mother's Facebook has Harvard mom and all this, and I went on Julia's Facebook, and she just posted one little thing about Harvard. You know, like the kid's not real big. She's very humble. I mean, the kid's never missed a day of school. She wants to be a scientist. You know,
and Jimmy, I'm really
pretty,
sorry. I'm really sorry that you're estranged from her. Why? How did that happen? I'm curious.
Well, you know that email I sent you, right, with all that. You know, I mean, I don't want to put it out, but
what email?
But the mother was a fifth a day drinker, much worse than I ever was. I've never had to be detoxed, but
Jimmy, if her mother drinks, how did you get estranged from her? Oh, I see.
What's that?
So the mother was drinking and made claims about you.
The mother made a bunch of false claims, which I was exonerated after 18 months. You know, she said I threw the baby on the floor when the kid was 9 months old. There was no evidence of this, right?
But did you do it? Aside from whether there was evidence, did you do it?
Out of my apartment. What's that?
Aside from whether there was evidence, did you do that? Did you throw a baby on the floor?
No, of course not. Even my kid, when she was 5 years old, she said, "Daddy, wouldn't I have gotten hurt if you threw me on the floor?" I'd be like, "Yeah, you would think." You know, but, you know, that's the way the court system works today, David. If a woman says something, or even a man, I mean, if you're the first one to make the accusation, that's what they go with.
Jimmy, let me ask you this. I'm curious.
Walk and talk.
Jimmy, have you been arrested before?
Of course I have, David.
What were the charges? What were you arrested for?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what the charges are, David.
Did they involve violence against anybody?
40 years ago. This was 35 years ago. No violence against anybody, no.
Oh, I mean, just generally speaking, what kind of a thing was it?
Let's say theft.
Theft. And were firearms involved?
Of drugs, but I don't want to make that as an excuse because, you know, I was guilty as hell, and you know, that's not something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not doing that now. I mean, here's another thing. So I was an idiot over Twitch Prime, but you're getting all these calls about, you know, like that they don't understand Twitch Prime. But I was a moron, right?
Yeah.
For being pissed off about Twitch Prime. Here's another
all right,
thing.
Jimmy. Jimmy, I'm feeling bad about all this. It's a sad situation.
I'm an atheist. You're an atheist, right?
Yeah.
You're an atheist, right? So how come you didn't come at this Pelosi thing where she said she's a Catholic and she doesn't hate anybody? How come you didn't come at that from an atheistic point of view?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that makes no sense at all.
Why you didn't, why you let her get a pass on that?
Yeah. All right, Jimmy. Very good. Well, listen, I hope that all the best for your daughter.
I know.
All the best for your daughter. I hope that you reconnect with her. I do hope you reconnect with her. All right. Thank you very much, Jimmy from Philly. Somebody please clip that. Something sad about that call today. Let's go next to our caller from the 508 area code. Maybe a local caller from the Massachusetts area. 508, you're on the air.
Hello, David?
Yes, hello.
Hey, I'm calling from Boston College, and I just wanted to know when you're going to be coming back.
Oh, I don't know. I taught there a few semesters ago, and I'm quite frankly so insanely busy that I don't know when I'm going to be back to teaching. I loved it, but it's just I've got so many things going on and a lot of travel upcoming, and so I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. How long will you be there?
This is my first year.
Oh, it is.
I'll wait for you, man. I'll wait for you.
All right, good. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity.
All right, thank you, David. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Let's go to our caller from the 305 area code. I always, I tend to go to 305 because I just love Miami. Miami's one of my favorite places in the country. 305, what's going on?
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, I just had a question about debates, like YouTube, like political debates. Do you see value in debates in general? And I just wanted to get your take on debates overall.
I'm in favor of debating ideas.
The only me too. The only thing that I see that's kind of weird about a lot of kind of YouTube political debates, even the presidential debates, is that there is a performative aspect to it.
Of course.
And a lot of the time, it's just the person who is kind of the best personality wins. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think
Absolutely.
that it's too heavy on that?
It is, and the format requires that because you get, 30 seconds to respond, 45 seconds. So people come in with, planned kill shots, like when Kamala came in planning to call Joe Biden a racist, or when Cory Booker came in ready to tell Joe Biden that I thought he was high when he said that marijuana is a gateway drug. It lends itself to that. It's unfortunate. But, the other thing is you've got to clear the stage a little bit to get more substantive debate, unless you want it to go 10 hours. If you want to get substance in 2 hours, you can't have 10, 12 people on the stage.
Yeah, totally agreed. One last really quick thing. I think the thing that people are saying, giving you a hard time about the healthcare thing, I haven't heard like pretty much any leftist podcast or anything like that hasn't said the exact same thing, that there's not a lot of hope that we're going to get a universal healthcare plan like anytime soon. So I don't think that that's a warranted attack, just to say that. And I was just curious why you think you got blowback on that.
I don't know. It's really popular right now to do outrage, to be outraged at things and to attack people and whatever. And it sounds like so windy where you are, but I think we are going to be able to persevere. So I don't know. I think, one thing I have noticed is that the bigger my channel gets, the more people attack me and the more we get brigaded when we don't say the right thing as far as the left is concerned. But it is what it is. We've had in the last 30 days, we've had our 4 best days ever on YouTube have all happened in the last 30 days. We're picking up thousands of subscribers, and I think that we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. If people don't agree with me all the time, that's fine. It doesn't seem to be hurting the channel or the show, and I want to just say things the way I see them.
Oh, also, I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, but on YouTube, kind of like new independent news channels, it kind of redirect. It used to redirect to other of the same other videos of the same channel, but now it kind of at least for me, it redirects to mainstream, MSNBC and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You noticed that? That's kind of bizarre.
That started, we have a big report about that. That actually started several months ago, and we're seeing a lot of it. Yep. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. Hope to hear from you again. Let's go to Sam from the 202. Sam from the 202. What's going on?
Hi, am I live right now?
You are live right now.
Okay. David, I have a comment. You talked to John Gardner again, and I love that guy.
Yeah.
Please try to bring him on more.
Okay.
And a thought just occurred to me that no one is talking about. Who knows if Trump is elected again, where he will be at the end of towards the end of his second term, because we've already seen him go downhill.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more, Sam.
Who knows? Also, I wanted to end with say another thing. With that video you posted about like the backlash to your, let's be practical about Medicare for all.
Sure.
I feel like I mentioned like the Bernie or bust people previously, and I think these are the same people, just a lot of these same people who took your Medicare for all video out of context. You know, I just think you have. I'm sorry. You just have some people who are just kind of stuck in their own little box.
Absolutely, Sam. Sam, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure hearing from you. Let me say thanks to Hard Revenge for subscribing for 5 months on Twitch with the message, tell Jimmy to subscribe to Twitch. I also want to say thanks to 12th Dimension for subscribing with Twitch Prime, Lil Money, T-Dub, Simple Zach 12, PQ Coyote, Vladnix, Nappersonian. I think that's it. Let's see. Let's go to Country Code 35. This could be crazy. Country Code 35. Who's this?
Hey, this is Ville from Finland.
Finland. I love it. Where, are you calling from Helsinki or elsewhere?
I'm from Helsinki, but currently I'm working this weekend away from Helsinki in the western part of Finland.
Got it. I was in Helsinki in the last year, and I absolutely loved Helsinki.
Yeah, it's especially in the summer and winter, but then maybe the spring and fall are pretty awful of the weather. But during the winter time and summertime, it's very nice.
Yeah, I took like a little boat ride over to an island that has a brewery on it. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it's right in the center near the president's palace.
Right.
That they call. I think.
Great food. Now, let me ask you a question. When I was there, I was just loving this salmon chowder sort of soup that is popular there. Do you know the dish I'm talking about?
Yeah, with salmon and potatoes and carrots and then kind of like
Now, do locals actually eat that, or is that basically tourist food?
No, locals make it. Like, it's a very traditional Finnish food.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, good. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. I'm guessing you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, I was asking since you've visited Finland, and I lived in California myself for 5 years, and it was, I think it was very similar and a bit different in California, but then both of my sisters, they studied, one in Massachusetts and then the other one in Buffalo for college. And when I visited there, and I've been around the States in different places, I really noticed that it's a very different country around. Like, so I was, my question is, what do you think are the main things that you would think like the U.S. could learn from Nordic countries such as Finland?
Oh my goodness. We should be looking at Finland for, I mean, it's like where to start. Obviously, your healthcare system is better. The way that new parents are supported by the state is much better. We've covered on my show, you know, this sort of kit that new mothers get with the basics, which have been figured out. Like if you start parenthood with these basics, the kid's going to be way better off. Everybody gets that. More respect for time off and separation between, you know, work and not work. I mean, there's just so many things.
Yeah, I agree with especially like the mother kit. It's kind of funny when you explain it to foreigners, but it's not unusual for like a lot of my friends and stuff. Like, you know, the first place where you slept as a baby was the box that all the stuff came with.
Yeah, for people who don't know what we're talking about, this is a box new parents get, and the box itself can be a crib if you don't have one. I mean, it's really pretty brilliant. And I think if I recall correctly, it's only about €200 worth of stuff, but it's really important stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly like, if you think that, of course, people usually are very prepared when they're having a kid, but usually you might forget something.
Right.
So it has all the basic needs once you go home from the hospital to be able to handle the kid and have the basic needs met.
Indeed. Hey, last Finland question. Do you go over, like, is it a fun thing that people do to take the boat over to Tallinn for like the day and then come back? Is that something people do?
Yeah, a lot. And usually when people go to Tallinn, it's a day cruise, and then they'll go, and because alcohol is way cheaper.
Yes.
Way cheaper there, and then they bring alcohol back to Finland.
Yeah, we took the Silja line. We took a Silja line boat over, and there were people who were saying we're coming right back on the next one after buying a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah, and then more of like a touristy thing, which is people go to Stockholm from Helsinki and Turku.
Love
and those
it.
are usually 2-day cruises or 2-night cruises just to get away.
Well, I hope to get to Stockholm soon. I really appreciate the call, okay?
Yeah, and I also enjoy your show and watch it here. Usually I listen to it daily while I'm driving, so keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. All right, I hope to hear from you again. Let's go next to, where do we go? There are so many people holding. Let's try our caller from the 919 area code. Who's calling from 919?
Hey, David, it's me.
Oh, hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
Awesome, cool. It's awesome to be on here. It's crazy that I'm on here, actually. I don't really have much to say. You can probably cut this much. You can probably cut this part short. How are you, I just want to know how you're doing. I mean, I saw that online you get a lot of flack on your Bolivia take.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
That's true. That did happen, yeah, but I'm fine. Thank you.
Cool. I had one other thing. Are you still sponsored by Vincero watches?
You know, I don't know the answer because I don't have any contact with the advertisers. We have an ad salesperson, and when they tell me record an ad, I do it. And I don't actually know when the ads air, so I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't say my opinion on this then. I don't want to get you in trouble or anything.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, all right. Well, that's really all I had to say. I was just, I agree with everything you say, and
Love it.
I really appreciate you. So, thanks so much.
All right.
And,
Very
luck.
good. Got through a lot of topics, though. I appreciate that. Okay, let's go next to our caller from the 203 area code. Who's calling today from 203? A lot of nice people calling in today.
Hello? Is this me?
Yes, that's you. It's you, yeah.
Oh, hey, this is Daniel from Connecticut. Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to reroute my brain. Yeah, I recall, I think it was probably about a month or two ago, I saw that you made a pretty good video illustrating the differences between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, most of the information in that video pertained to actual policies and what you saw was different between the two of them. And the thing that I felt at the end a little bit like something was missing, but well, I just remember you ending the video saying that the topic, and I apologize if this is going to be like the topic of a future video, but you said that the strategies that Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders would have to actually get these policies into action in office would have to be something that would be discussed another day. Something like that, something along the lines that who would be more effective at actually getting their getting their policies to actually exist. And I thought that was something like curious because to me, when we're talking about Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, I feel like that's the sort of like crux of the issue. That's the biggest thing that kind of separates the two. And I was kind of always waiting for that video to come out because I was really interested in your sort of take as to whether a more sort of reform the system candidate versus, a little bit more kind of revolutionary candidate like Bernie Sanders. Like, what differences between these two in terms of how they would get their policy into action? Like,
Yeah, I think I understand. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. So
sorry.
So number one, when I say something is a topic for another day, I don't necessarily mean it's a topic for me for another day. I just mean it's a different topic than the one I'm talking about. But in short, it's basically a question between the more revolutionary approach or the incremental approach. So let's say that one is more progressive than Warren and is more in line with Bernie's policy. There's a debate to be had, and I'm not picking a side in the debate, as to whether, in practice, Elizabeth Warren might move the country more to the left because while less progressive, she's working more within the system, whereas Bernie wants to change the system. That's the argument. Now, I'm just the messenger there. I want to make that clear. But that's the basic question mark. That's the difference in implementation.
Right. Yeah, and I actually... although I feel like a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters, I feel like kind of take it for granted that his approach might actually bring America to the left, because obviously he's pulling a little bit more from the left than Elizabeth Warren. I feel like progressives they're a little bit too quick to sort of denounce incrementalism entirely. And I get it in the sense that I suppose whenever we think of incrementalism, we kind of think of centrism, or sort of like it just not being enough, because obviously America still has a lot of problems today. But yeah, personally,
well, reasonable people can certainly disagree about that. Hey, I'm curious, are you like maybe British, but you moved to the U.S. pretty young?
Yeah, I'm kind of from all over. I'm actually, you had the previous caller, I think, from Finland or something. Yeah. I have roots in Finland, Peru, America, and England. But I just moved. I just finished university in England. If I could get like one point across really quick, because I just want to say I am like a Bernie Sanders supporter, and for me, I just really think that the fact that someone is actually trying to build lots of grassroots support in the country and trying to bring democracy back in the hands of people, I think it's more valuable than a lot of policy discussion in itself. And maybe that's not the smartest way to think, but I very much appreciate what someone like Bernie Sanders is doing in America, and it's made me a lot more interested in politics. I'm not an Elizabeth Warren hater. I really like, but I just really like Bernie Sanders. I think there are two really great candidates, but Bernie's just a little bit better.
All right, very good. Point taken. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. And it is a position that will be pleasing to some and very concerning to others. All right, thanks to everybody who joined me. That is it for me today. We've done, I think, like 12 hours of streaming this week, which is a lot for us, although I know some people do this every day. But that's going to